me know when we're all set.
And we're going.
All right, so this is Chelsea and Chloe's Roadmap to Success video. This is Chelsea. What the Guardians primarily want to work on today was helping Chelsea kind of learn how to relax and gain self-control. So I want to refer you to the video above this one to help them learn how to sit before going outside. But that's just one example of the different types of rules that we want to have in the home. They already are not allowed on furniture, so that's great. So that's one good rule that was already in place before I got here. But we do want to make sure they're sitting before they're going out through doors. That also includes the front door, so if you're going to take them for a walk or a run, have them sit, walk out the door, and then have them come out after you. Another time to kind of put a rule like this in place is if you're playing fetch in the backyard, which is a great way to get her energy out, is to have them sit every time you get the ball back, and then you throw the ball, have them sit, and have them go and get it. That way they're building up that impulse control, and they're not just starting to go up and up and up in energy. They're actually calming themselves back down, gaining self-composure, and then they go after the ball again. So bring the ball back, ask them to sit, then you throw it. So that's one of the other things we chatted about today, is making sure that Chelsea's getting all of her energy needs met. She's going out for a walk first thing in the morning, and then coming back, having her second guardian play fetch with her. I would start counting the amount of times you throw the ball for her, and then write down, maybe midday, late morning, how good she's being. You can give her A, B, C, grades. You could give her check marks, whatever you want to do as your system. But then look at how many times you threw the ball for her. And then you'll start to see like, oh, this was like an A+ day. And I threw the ball for her 30 times. When I throw it 25 times, she's not as good, and it drops dramatically. So you can kind of figure out the sweet spot of what's going to make her really well behaved. And that way you can kind of catalog that as well. Other things that I want to remind you of is we want to use the structured feeding exercise and have Chloe eat first. She's older, so that's giving her a little bit of status. You can use the escalating consequences to establish that invisible boundary over in the pantry area and have the dogs eating one at a time. I also want to remind you that you can use that exact same method and concept to set those invisible boundaries in different parts of the home. So you could set that in the kitchen when you're making dinner. You can set that by the front door and just make it so the dogs don't go into the foyer when guests arrive. I want to refer you to our website. Go to dogonproblems.com, go to dog training tips. There's a search bar all the way to the right, and type in claiming the door. That's an exercise that you can look at where we use the invisible boundaries and the escalating consequences to help the dog stay away from the front door when guests arrive. And so you can look at other videos that we've posted to kind of go through that exact exercise if you want a referral to that. You can also set that up for the dining room, essentially any room in the house. You can also use this to teach her to stay on her bed while you're eating dinner. So those are different ways that you can apply the exact same method to meet other issues going on. Remember to keep kind of a bit of a bubble around you, a personal space bubble, and use our petting with a purpose technique, which also means having her sit before she gets attention. But if she starts to invade your personal space and put her paws on you or start jumping up at you, you want to ask her to kind of move away from you. And that can, that mostly at this point, if she's demanding your attention, remember any demanding attention. So pawing at you, jumping up at you, barking at you, whining in her crate, that's when you want to ignore her behavior. You want to ignore her when she's trying to get your attention, and use the escalating consequences when she's if she's doing a behavior you want to disagree with when it's not trying to get your attention. So for example, like if she was trying to come over after my water bottle earlier, if she was starting to bug this, we could use escalating consequences. But if she's over here pawing at me to get attention, I want to ignore her. If you need to, get to the level where you actually leave the room. If you can't just simply stand up and not look at her, remember, ignoring her means no eye contact. So if that doesn't work and she just keeps going, go ahead and leave the room entirely, leaving her out of the room. So you can use that to kind of help her learn how to be better behaved. You do want to advocate for the older dogs, so for Chloe, you want to use the escalating consequences if need be to help Chelsea learn to not kind of badger her and kind of, push her around. So you can do that to, kind of help Chloe out so she's not getting picked on in the home. But using the structured feeding exercise and all the other things that we've already discussed will also help their relationship, because she's no longer vying to get a status with Chloe. She knows that she should be looking to you for direction and leadership instead of trying to figure that out on her own. And then when guests arrive, another thing you want to do about this attention demanding, when you first get home, you don't want to pet her right away until she's calm enough to be petted. You want to get that nice calm energy where she won't be jumping up. Remember, however she reacts to you walking through the door is how she'll react to guests. So if she jumps up at you, she's likely to jump up on guests. So when you walk in, wait for her to calm down and then go ahead and pet her. And this is how you're going to help her also not be jumping up at guests. You can also use the claiming the door exercise, which I just talked about, and that will keep her farther away from the door so she won't be jumping up at guests when they first arrive. All right, I want to lastly remind you that everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it.